Hello, and welcome to Week 3 Plays of the Week. This week, we will dive into the world of kicking plays. We'll be breaking down some critical aspects, including onside kicks and the rules for blocking in the no blocking zone during a free kick. We'll also cover punts, kick catch interference, and how blocked field goal attempts can turn into live ball situations for returns. We'll highlight the important concept of first touching and what it means when possession takes place in the end zone. So let's touch on these plays and ensure we're sharp on the rules for the upcoming games.
Week 3 New Mexico High School football's training videos. We are going to be focusing on kick plays this week. I'm Victor Sanchez. We're going to have about 5 or 6 plays, and then we will have a bonus play at the end. But we have 5 or 6 plays focusing on free kicks, scrimmage kicks, and the kicking game. Let's get started with an onside kick here. And what we want to go over just basically are the rules of who can do what on a onside kick. So we're going to see here that we have an onside kick. It's heading down the middle of the field, and right about here, we're going to get a return team player trying to recover this kick, and he's going to be contacted by 2 players in white who are on the kicking team, and so we want to play it at full speed so we can get a look at it. You can see he's trying to get that ball, and he gets hit by number 44. Let's back this up, and let's just talk really quick. So what can the kicking team do in terms of blocking? Rule 937 is pretty specific. No member of the kicking team shall initiate contact to block an opponent on a free kick until a legal kick has traveled 10 yards. The kicking team is eligible to recover a free kick ball, or the receiving team initiates a block within this neutral zone. So what we have here is basic rules are kicking team cannot block until the ball has gone 10. They cannot block until the ball has been touched by the return team if it has not gone 10 yards yet. And if they are being blocked by a return team player, then they are allowed to protect themselves from those blocks. So in this particular play, what we want to just make sure that we're focused on is a couple of things. Number one, do we have the ball touched before he's blocked? I think this is simultaneous with him trying to recover this kick. So he's being blocked early. So we could have a foul here for blocking early by the kicking team. We end up having a recovery by the kicking team. So if we have that block for a foul, we need to enforce that foul on the kick and re-kick the ball. Backing it up again, there's another block that happens pretty close to the action right here by number 44. This block here. Don't think that we would consider that an illegal block, even though it is very close to when the ball has, even though the ball has not gone 10, and it's very close to when that ball was or was not touched by our return team player. Last thing, mechanically, what we want to be able to do is if you are on the return team's restraining line, you have 2 responsibilities. Does the ball go 10 yards, and is it touched, and by whom? So you have this play as to 10 yards made and touched, and then if you can get these blocks and pick those up, then that's great, but your offside official who's on the kicking team restraining line should be able to pick up these blocks and determine whether they were early or late. Our next play involves a swinging gate action and the rules pertaining to who can be on the line and who's eligible and ineligible on swinging gates. First off, I want to note that we do not have a holder and a kicker, so we could have a snap and a regular scrimmage play on this try down. So our umpire, you can see, is moving back. So we were in good position to start this, and then as the video starts, as they are coming into formation out of the swinging gate. So we've got to take note of numbers. We have number 3, who's the snapper, which as long as he's between the tackles, he can be legally snap the ball with that number on. And then we have 65, 60, 77, 63, 50, 22, and 2. We have a bunch of numbers coming back in, and we also have a number 44 hanging out over here. So as they come into formation, what we have to recognize is who is where and who is eligible and who is ineligible. And in order to do that, I want you to make sure that you're reading Rule 7-2, Article 5. There's A and B. And then if you flip the page over to page 62 in your rule book, you'll see the exceptions for numbering exceptions on this particular play. So read through those so that way we're good on who's eligible and ineligible. So in this particular play, we're going to have 50 and 55 over here on the end. 55 is the tight end, but is ineligible by number. 50 is another one who's in the backfield, as an end, it looks like, or he may be the tight end. Let's let this run through. So 50 ends up being the tight end. So 50 is ineligible by number. And we have number 2 here. I believe it's number 2 who is eligible by number and position. On this side, we have number 22 and 44. 22 is the tight end. He is eligible by position and number, and 44 is eligible by position and number. So our 2 officials on under the uprights, take note of those numbers, so that way if we do have a broken play, a blocked field goal, blocked extra point, a fake, anything like that, a bad snap, and anybody except 22, 44, and 2 catches this ball, we know who they are and where they came from. So we're going to see this kicker line up. They're in formation legally. We're going to see the kick happen, and that's the end of the play. No fouls here, just a reminder of those rules regarding eligibility on scrimmage kicks. Play number 3 this week involves a play we see very rarely, a quick kick. We have a 4th and 3 situation, and right about outside the 40-yard line. And we look like we have a scrimmage formation here, but we're going to look at the end zone view, and we're actually going to get a quick kick out of this formation. And it's really going to be something that we have to react to and cover. Let's go to the end zone view so we can see this play. And so let's start this play. You know, we are in position to referee a play that's presented in front of us, and then all of a sudden we get this quick kick out of the backfield, and now we have to play catch up. And so let's just start with how this is ruled in real time. Our back judge drops a beanbag, kills the play, and is going to spot the ball at the 1-yard line. So what that tells us is, in our official's judgment, that we had illegal touching at the 2, possession at the 1, and we gave the ball to the team at the 1. Now, if we were standing on the goal line and were able to see and judge that, I think we'd be great, and we could defend it that we were on the goal line and we can see when possession was gained. But given that we are about 15 yards away when this ball gets to the goal line, let's use some common sense and some standards. We know that the ball was touched in the field of play. Right there, we know it was touched in the field of play. And from this video angle, we can see it's about the 1-yard line where it was first touched. But we really don't know when it's actually possessed, and we have to go with our best judgment. And so we would recommend that if this ball in a play like this is touched at the 1, unless you have 100% positive knowledge that it was possessed at the 1-yard line, go with what's obvious. He rolls up with it in the end zone, and let's make this a touchback. I appreciate the decisiveness of our back judge and using proper mechanics, but going forward, just a rule of thumb, unless you are on the goal line and you can see everything how it happened, if we're 15, 20 yards behind it, let's go with what the obvious result is, and that he possessed this in the end zone, and let's make this play a touchback. Our next play involves kick catch interference and rules regarding scrimmage kicks and fair catches. We're going to look at this play, and then let's just talk about the rules we need to be aware of regarding the result of this play. We have a fair catch signal, an apparent muff, a recovery, and then we have a foul for a blindside block at the end. I'm going to replay this. You can see we have a muff, a recovery, and then a late hit blindside block at the end of the play. So let's break this down and let's go over what we need to be aware of. Mechanically, first, let's talk about the back judge. We have a short kick with a returner coming up the field, and we are moving when this catch is about to happen. We'd like for you to be walking up, not running up. And I don't know where we originally started on this play, but we want to try and stay with him as much as we can. But we don't want to be moving so fast that we can't see what happens. So that's the first piece. Next piece is, do we have kick catch interference? We have a fair catch signal, which offers the returner protection and the ability to complete the catch. You can find that in Rule 651. But now we got to talk about kick catch interference, which is Rule 656. And basically what we're talking about here is, does the kicking team obstruct this returner's ability to make the catch? Whether he gives a fair catch signal or not, he still has to have the opportunity to make this catch. So if we look at this nearest defender, number 14 right here, there's a question as to whether or not he is impeding this returner's ability to make the catch. In my opinion, and opinion of other people I've talked to, that he is not impeding his ability to make the catch. This returner is focused on trying to catch the ball and stops on his own. He's not pushed off the way by this number 14. So we don't have kick catch interference by number 14. We have some other action happening. We have this player right here pushing one of the return players in the back, trying to get to the ball. This should not be a foul. But now we have a muff. Okay, we have a muffed kick that is touched by the return team, which means now it can be recovered by the kicking team. And so we have to see that happen. We have to see that it was touched by the return team. And I think we do a good job with that. We see the muff, and now we have a clear recovery by this player right here. It looks like he's number 23. And so now this play is dead. And here we have a late hit, blindside hit by number 6, and we get a flag down for that. So good job to get that dead ball activity. But we want to be aware of the rules regarding kick catch interference. I'll read the rule again. Rule 656, Article 6 says, while any free kick is in flight in or beyond the neutral zone to the receiver's goal line, or any scrimmage kick is in flight beyond the neutral zone to the receiver's goal line, K shall not touch the ball or R unless blocked into the ball or R, or to ward off a blocker, or obstruct R's path to the ball. This prohibition applies even when no fair catch signal is given, but it does not apply after a free kick has been touched by a receiver, or after a scrimmage kick has been touched by a receiver or was clearly beyond the neutral zone at the time of touching. So I want to make sure that we understand this kick catch interference rule. This particular play is judgment as to whether or not 14 commits kick catch interference. I don't think it's kick catch interference, but you're on the field. If you make that judgment, be able to apply the rule accordingly. Our fifth play this week involves a blocked field goal attempt. We can see we have 4th and 5. We're snapping at about the 26-yard line for a field goal attempt. And let's just watch the action that happens. Kick is blocked. Number 24 catches it, and then everybody stops. What happened on this play is the ball was killed after the number 24 caught this kick. So we need to understand the rules regarding scrimmage kicks and how they apply, and make sure that we're applying them correctly. This is a scrimmage kick, and even though it is blocked, it is a live ball until it is untouched by any team, until it is in the end zone, unless it's in possession of a player. So what we have here is this kick is blocked. It crosses the neutral zone, and so now we just have basically a regular scrimmage kick. So we can let this play out. 24 should be able to return this ball, should be able to try and make a play out of it. Instead, we kill the play, and so now what we're left with is what essentially is an inadvertent whistle. Now, how we get out of this inadvertent whistle is a little tricky because the inadvertent whistle does not happen during a loose ball play. It actually happens while the ball is during a running play. So we would give R the option of accepting the results of the play of the dead ball and putting the ball in play at the dead ball spot. That's really about the only option we have on this, but we take away the opportunity for return. So we want to make sure that we understand scrimmage kick rules. Just because a kick is blocked does not mean the play is over. That ball has to come into possession of a player, or has to be declared dead by rule, whether by down or by a touchback in the end zone. Play number 6 today involves a fake field goal and understanding number exceptions. Similar to our swinging gate play, we are looking at a field goal attempt, so we need to know who is eligible and who is ineligible. By position, these two players at the top here are eligible, and by position, these two players are eligible. Provided by number, they are also eligible. So as long as they have legal numbers 0 through 49 and 80 through 99, they will be legal. If they have lineman numbers, then they will be ineligible. The other thing to take note is the 5 interior linemen in here. If they have numbering exceptions, we need to note those numbering exceptions and that they are not eligible to catch a pass going forward. So I'll let this play out, and then we'll run it back again. We see a rollout and then a pass to the back of the end zone, falls incomplete, but that ball was touched by someone in white, so we need to know where they came from. And so if we know our numbers, we can be pretty confident that this was touched by an eligible player. And it turns out it was touched by number 8. And if we roll it back, we'll see where number 8 came from. Number 8 is the tight end on this side. I'll play it in slow motion. We can see number 8 is going to leak out once the fake is on, and he is eligible to touch that pass. Doesn't catch it, it's incomplete, but we need to know that he was eligible to touch that pass. The other players that were eligible on this play appear to be number 5 on this end, who was lined up as a back, and then the other 2 eligible players on the other side of the field appear to be this player right here, I believe is number 11, and this player right here, who I do not have a number for. But just make sure that we understand who is eligible and who is not eligible, and recognize any numbering exceptions that may exist on the interior line, so that way we know who can and cannot catch this pass. Our next play involves a kick that does not cross the line of scrimmage. You'll see we are snapping here at the 39-yard line, and we are going to let this play out so you can see where this kick goes out of bounds. And let's talk about some hypotheticals. Bad snap, punter gets it off, and we're going to see that this ball lands right about the 30 and goes out of bounds right around the 34-yard line. So let's talk about the hypotheticals here. If a kicking team player were to recover or catch this kick behind the line, would they be able to advance it? The answer, yes. Any scrimmage kick that is caught or recovered behind the line of scrimmage can be advanced by the kicking team player. Take this example, not what we have on the screen, but let's say this was a field goal attempt, or even if it is a punt. Let's say it's a regular punt and it was blocked by the return team, and one of these backs up here was able to scoop up the blocked punt behind the neutral zone and advance it for a first down. That would be a legal play. So we want to make sure that we understand these rules and we understand how they work. So for that rules reference, go to page 57 of your rule book, Rule 6-2, Article 3, which states any K player may catch or recover a scrimmage kick while it is in or behind the neutral zone and advance it unless it is during a try. So just some brushing up on the kicking rules this week. Make sure that we get into that rule book regarding scrimmage kicks, free kicks, fair catches, and kick catch interference. Our bonus play this week is not involving the kicking game, but is involving hits against defensive players, especially pass receivers. And so as we get this play started, let's take a look at these 2 players here. We want to look at our wide receiver number 1 at the bottom and our safety here right about the 49-yard line here. I'm going to let it play, and then we'll run it back through again so we can kind of go over what happens here. We get a quarterback drop back, post pattern, pass over the middle, and then a very hard hit on this defensive player and a flag down from our umpire. So looking at these 2 players, let's talk about this hit and where does this fall into the category of legal and illegal hits. And in order to do that, we need to look at Rule 232.16, specifically D. So if we look at that rule and we read that rule, what that rule states is that a receiver in B or C above, which is a receiver attempting to catch a pass or the intended receiver of a pass in the action during and immediately following an interception or potential interception. If a receiver in any of those 2 situations, including the person intercepting the pass, who is forcefully contacted by an opponent, and that contact is not incidental contact as a result of making a play on the ball, or initiated with open hands, or an attempt to tackle by wrapping arms around the receiver, this would be a foul for hit against the defense's player. So let's take a look at this play one more time, and let's look at the action by our defender and see, does it fall into any of those categories? Do we have a legitimate play on the ball that happens to be incidental contact? We can look by his action. He is playing the receiver as the force of his hit is taking the receiver out. So we would put this in the foul category. He's not attacking with open hands, and he is definitely not wrapping up the intended receiver in an attempt to make a tackle. So this would be a foul for illegal personal contact foul, and we flag this appropriately here in this game right here. So good job to get a flag down on this. But review this rule and just make sure that we're seeing these plays. And if the defender does not meet those three criteria, incidental contact as a result of trying to play the ball, initiating contact with open hands, or wrapping up as they make this play, we have a foul.
As we close out this week's Plays of the Week, don't forget to send any interesting plays to our Huddle program for feedback. Not only can reviewing film help you better adjudicate similar situations, but it's a valuable tool for improving your mechanics and positioning. Take the time to watch yourself and learn from it. Have fun this week, safe travels to those on the road, and remember, make them big.